Alright, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Madam Hafizah. So my name is Nizatul Ashikin and I'm from MC246S2A. My ID number is 2021829064. So today I'm going to tell you about my persuasive speech, which is about why school should start later. And at the end of my speech, I'm sure that you will be convinced with my idea logically. Alright, so let me start. Okay, so each of us have been to school at least for 5 years, and even certain people might even come to school for about 30 to 40 years, like spending their whole life there if they become if they become the teachers and maybe office workers and something else. And every morning, especially me, once as a boarding school student, really feels like really too tired, too lazy sometimes in the morning to go to school, having to wake up at least not after 6 a.m. every day, or else things will get clumsy and late, then everything will go wrong for the day. All right. So countless studies have shown that early school start times are associated with student getting less sleep, which negatively affects student academic performance. So that is quite a concern, right? Just try to put yourself in the student situation right now, and I'm sure that you will understand it more. All right. So going further into this topic, I have done some research to strengthen my points. So there are some negative effects that can happen to students having the school to start early, and that even happen nowadays, being as the proof. All right. So the first research that I found is about the AAP Adolescent Sleep Working Group reviewed studies involving inadequate sleep in teens. So researchers analyzed the harmful effects of sleep deprivation. Anything less than 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep on school nights can have on young people. They concluded that poor sleep is linked to increased reliance on caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol, and also a link between sleep deprivation and poor academic performance. Also, they said that sleep deprivation has also been linked to an increase of car accidents in teens. So, also another research that I found is the University of Minnesota investigated Minneapolis high schools for the academic year 1997 till 1998. So they started the class at 8:40 a.m. instead of 7:15 a.m. as originally scheduled. So this alteration has a clear result, which is during the first 2 periods of the day, pupils were reportedly more attentive, and the attendance has increased by 5%. So why do you think the schools why do you think that the school still hasn't adopting this practice after such an illuminating study? All right, so that is why we need to deeply agree with the statement that school should start later. There are so many benefits for the students if the school can start later than now. One of them is that the attendance of the students can be improved, right? So me as the presenter also agreed at this point, which is fewer occurrence of falling asleep in the class. So this is definitely the crucial point of this topic. All right, the third one is the decline of motor vehicle crashes. So one study showed that about 16.5% decrease in the teenage crash rate after the school start time was pushed 1 hour back, meaning 1 hour later. All right. So since we students and parents who want the best for our children and ourselves are the only one who will start advocating for it, I want to convince you guys right now to think about this issue that school should start later. All of the pupils will undoubtedly profit from this action in a variety of ways, particularly with regard to the sleep problems and motivation. All right, so now you must be thinking, right? Like, then why is the school still open early like usual and no changes till today? And maybe some of you question, right? Like, are there really a lot of disadvantages of having school to start early? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about this. So this issue has been raised for about decades, and I admit that there is still no improvement or changes by the government for further pursue the concerns of the students and all. So this might be due to some reason that is unavoidable. So which is the for example, one of them is the parent work schedule. Having the school to start later than usual might give a hard time to the parents as they need to reschedule their work, and that is only valid if they can do it, if they are able to do it. If they are working as a full-time worker, then it might be a little problem for them. But logically, Parents must want the best for their child, and even if the government reschedule back the school opening time, believe me or not, the parents will willingly to do it too, right? So plus, I'm sure that all parents must at least once in a lifetime listen to their children complaining about getting tired of school. They feel too lazy to go to the school, feel so sleepy in the class, less motivated, and so on. And all of these complaints should not be put aside, as it is really what they feel. So here, let me elaborate specifically some of the disadvantages of having school to start early, right? So first thing first, it must be about the most obvious disadvantages, which is the sleep deprivation. So children's sleep requirement vary depending on their age. So children between the age of 6 and 13 needs between 9 and 11 hours of sleep per night, according to the National Sleep Foundation. Age between 14 to 17 need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. So, however, research has shown that the majority of American teenagers do not get enough sleep. The majority of middle school students, nearly 60%, do not get adequate sleep on school nights. So over 70% of high school students fall into this category. So teenagers who don't get enough sleep often have late bedtimes and early school starts. So lack of sleep has an adverse effect on a student's general health, happiness, academic progress, and may even have long-term health effects. So that is why people say that sleep deprivation can sometimes be the silent killer from time to time, as slowly it will make our body become weak and easily attract all diseases, especially heart attack. All right, so the second one, the second disadvantages of having school to open early is tardiness. Okay, school frequently complain about the students who are constantly absent, and they even have rules about it. For instance, if a kid is late for class more than 5 times in a week or in a subject, they may call their parents, meet with the discipline instructor, or worst case scenario, meet with the head administrator and receive a letter of suspension. And even look at it, most of the absentees will be in the first subject in the morning. So it might be because of the sleepiness, not getting enough sleep, too much work to be done yesterday, causing them to be tardy for the first period, and yet the school still didn't understand about this. So don't you think it will be much simple to go to school on time if we had an extra hour, right? So the third one is regarding the academic performance. The research says that the brain is in a good mood to absorb everything they learn from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. All right. So, however, the hours between 4 and 7 in the morning are the least productive for learning. So, this is logically related to in real life, because like nowadays, class in Malaysia usually starts at 7:30 a.m. And when it says that the ability of the students to really absorb the learning only starts like 2 hours after that, then what about the 2 hours in the morning? It is like a waste of time, right? Like a waste of time, energy, waste of everything. Okay. So, and even if they listen to the teacher babbling in the class, I would rather say that they are not even fully focused on what they are learning, because, and after seconds, only the teacher will realize that the students were already sleeping while looking at the whiteboard. So this is completely the bare truth of having the class to start early in the morning. All right. So therefore, let's see what are the advantages if the school will open a little later than usual. Okay. So firstly, it definitely improve the attendance of the school. Okay, so students will get more time to sleep, a good rest, and a school preparation, definitely going well and no late to school anymore, right? So we are not asking the school to start at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., but only an hour later, which is 8:30 a.m. or even 9 a.m. So it is definitely an ideal time, and there will be decrease in absentees in the class, right? So then, the second point is we can decrease the tardiness. So researchers from the Salk Institute of Biological Studies and the University of Washington conducted studies to evaluate this. So according to a primary author, Didan Dunster, a doctorate candidate in the Department of Biology at the University of Washington, Both tardiness and first period absence decrease in that school, bringing the numbers in line with the other more affluent high school in the study. So that just says a lot about the advantages of school starting later. Another advantages will be less instances of students dozing off in class. So students can accommodate their natural sleep-wake cycles by starting school later, sleeping past 11 p.m. and rising up at 8 or 9 a.m. So the immune system, muscular recovery, athletic performance, and daily sleepiness are all benefited by getting enough sleep since it gives the body more time to restore itself. All right. So next, the last one is the fewer behavioral problems. So puberty frequently causes mood fluctuations in teens, but poor sleep habits only make these mood swings and outbursts worse. Lack of sleep can alter one's mood, resulting in despair, anxiety, tense irritation, and other negative emotions. All right. So, despite all the points that I've given to you just now, there must be some argument. Okay. So, people keep saying that when kids are given too much time and they will be just playing around in a given time, that is totally wrong. Also, they said that it's better to start early than finish early and finish the school earlier, or else it will drag the time more. So I not so agree with that because we are actually encouraging them to have more time for themselves, especially avoiding them rushing in the morning to prepare everything for school, or else the student will be getting punishment for being late. Another argument that arises is about there not being enough time for the school to make a program. So the students are just asking to start school about 1 hour later than usual, not the entire morning. So the school will still have the time to do any programs in the evening session. All right. So in conclusion, having the school to start later is not just a waste of time, but instead it will make the students more motivated and energetic to start the day when they have enough time to digest everything in order, because the pupils are at the period of learning to manage their time and explore things, giving them enough time to accomplish that is vital, so that they won't feel like stressing out about the school or something else. All the students will undoubtedly feel happier and healthier than before. So if you are a teacher, so try to grasp your students' issues and daily perspective. They are not mindless robots who must be controlled at all the times. um, Even in terms of attendance, getting an extra hour of sleep in the morning won't harm the educational systems. Instead, we can be sure that the outcome will be satisfactory. So I think that is all from me. Thank you.